Welcome to Cat and Jess Talk the Best, where we're going to be talking about IMDb's top 250 movies from April 12th, 2018. My name is Kat.
And I'm Jess.
And today we are talking about number 236, 8.5, which is an Italian drama film from 1963. This movie has an 8.1 on 95,142 votes. And the synopsis. Troubled Italian filmmaker Guido Anselmi struggles with creative stasis as he attempts to get a new movie off the ground. Overwhelmed by his work and personal life, the director retreats into his thoughts, which often focus on his loves, both past and present, and frequently wander into fantastical territory as he tries to sort out his many entanglements, romantic and otherwise. Guido finds his production becoming more and more autobiographical.
Yeah, that's about the movie. I mean, yeah.
That was a lot easier to understand than the actual movie. But we'll not talk about that yet.
Not yet. Alright, so our director is Federico Fellini. He did another film of ours on our list, Knights of Cambria, which is 220, so I get to see it in a while. La Dolce Vita and The Ship Sails On. And we got our three top stars. We have Marcello Mastroianni, Anouk Amy, and Claudia Cardinal.
All right.
Oh, that was a mouthful. Apologize. Italian's not my strong point. If it was in Spanish, hell yeah. But no. Similar.
It's very similar. So Rotten Tomatoes, the average rating is an 8.5, 98% on 47 critical reviews. 46 are fresh, 1 is rotten. So 2 of the fresh, James Powers said Fellini keeps a grasp on his difficult form, creating some penetrating, witty, tragic moments. Sure, whatever. Stanley Kaufman, in terms of execution, I cannot remember a more brilliant film. I strongly disagree. Strongly.
I wouldn't strongly disagree, but I would disagree.
And then, because there was only one rotten, you can only read one rotten. It's from Time magazine. Unless Fellini's problem has been preying on the mind of the viewer, he may not care to take on the director's doubts and confusions.
That makes sense, actually.
So the consensus, inventive, thought-provoking, and funny, 8.5 represents the arguable peak of Federico Fellini's many towering feats of cinema. Seeing as how this is the first one we've seen, can't agree or disagree. So.
Yeah, I mean, he did a lot of films.
This is the first one we've watched, though.
That's true. So this is like our introduction to him. We're like, oh my god, what?
So the income, literally only found 2 things about this. The gross in the U.S. that it made was $98,870. And its all-time domestic rank is 10,944.
That's it.
That's it. That's all I could find.
Wow.
And it won 2 Oscars, has 16 other wins, and 8 nominations. So the 2 Oscars it won, Best Costume Design, Black and White, and Best Foreign Language Film from Italy. The Bodil Awards, Best European Film. The Golden Globes, or the Golden Goblets in Italy, it won Best Director. Italian National Syndicate of Film Journalists, Best Director, Best Producer, Best Supporting Actress, Best Screenplay, Best Original Story, Best Cinematography, Black and White, and Best Score.
I love how you pause after Best Score.
We'll talk about that when we get to the music. Kinema Junpo Awards, Best Foreign Language Film, and Best Foreign Language Director. Moscow International Film Festival, the director won. National Board of Review US, Best Foreign Language Film, Top Foreign Language Films, New York Film Critics Circle, Best Foreign Language Film, and lastly, Online Film and Television Association. It's in the Hall of Fame for the motion picture. So what'd you think?
I will admit, it's kind of confusing at, like, first just to understand what's going on. It took me, like 15 minutes to understand what was going on. And I was like, okay, I can get this. It goes back and forth between, like, his little flashbacks and fantasies to, like, what he's doing then. But it's not always graceful. That's my opinion. It's not a bad film, but it's kind of hard to follow. I'll say that.
I don't disagree that it's hard to follow, but I don't agree that it's not a bad film. I think it's a horrible film. I hated it.
I know.
Absolutely hated it. I was so mad 20 minutes in when we still had 2 hours left to go.
She's like, how much longer?
I was done with it by the 20-minute mark. It's playing on my phone, doing absolutely everything else that I could possibly do.
That's why there's not many notes on your paper.
No, they're not. And a lot of them are like 1 or 2 word notes.
I see one of them that says, like, it's 3 letters, and I'm like, oh god, Kat.
That is literally the 3rd line of notes. That's when I gave up.
You're like, I'm done. Done.
So. Oh, that's our initial thoughts.
Yeah.
Alright.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Alright, that was your warning. If you haven't watched the film yet, stop listening and come back after you've watched it. You want to start?
Okay.
I'll let you kind of take the reins on this one, because you understood what was going on.
I actually understood what was going on. It took me a little bit. I'm like, what? Okay, what's going on? So, like, the first thing you see after, like, you know, like, who it's like, what the like, who's involved with the film and all of that. You see, like, this traffic jam, and this is man, he's in this car, and he's trying to break out of this car because it's filled with smoke, and all these people are watching him.
Yeah.
And my thought was, like, why are they just watching him? Why are they not helping? That was, like, my first clue. I was like, okay, this isn't kind of weird, but alright. So then he breaks out and he's, like, climbing over the cars, and then he starts flying. That was weird.
Yeah, that was my what the fuck moment. Literally wrote down
He literally
WTF.
was flying. And I'm like, okay. And then someone tries to bring him down from the beach, and you realize it's kind of part of his, like, weird dream he's having.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, dream, got it. That makes sense now. And what did you think where he was at? It was like some resort or something, or?
I thought it was his house.
At first, yeah. Because he's, like, in this room, like, his bedroom, and, like, he woke up, and he's getting checked out by, like, his doctor.
Yeah. I don't have any thoughts on what anything is, because I was so confused. All I know is that this guy was trying to make a movie, and it ended up being pretty much his life, is what it looked like.
Yeah.
And I just don't even know what the hell was going on half the time. Like, all these people and nuns are going to this water mineral thing.
Yeah, well, the song, Ride of the Valkyries is playing. It's a pretty famous song. It's...
The Nutcracker.
Yeah, that too. That was playing. And that was very confusing. I'm like, why is this song playing while these people are walking around? I don't know. And, like, is this him, like, walking around, like, this... I don't know. I figured out, like, some, like, resort or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
And so he, like, sees, like, this woman, like she's kind of like just like as, like, a nurse or something like that. I don't know.
No.
He sees this, like, she's really pretty and everything. I was like, oh, okay. And then, like, but it's really not her. It's, like, some older woman giving him, like, water.
Yeah.
That was weird.
I think it was, like, some kind of mineral water, because later on the girl that we're about to meet, she's sick, and he says it's because you drank that mineral water when you weren't sick. So I think that was the mineral water.
Yeah, that's true.
So the next thing is the train station. He's at the train station. He's waiting for someone, and he assumes she didn't come. But then the train starts to leave, and you see this very extravagant woman
Yeah.
compared to what everyone else is wearing, with 5 suitcases.
Yeah. She says they're all full of dresses because dresses take up a lot of room. I'm like, well, okay, I kind of get that.
Yep.
I like dresses, so I can see how that takes up a lot of room, but really? That many suitcases? I don't know. Yeah, she's some woman. Her name's what, Carla?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, she's, how would I say this in a nice way? I wrote down, it seemed like to me the, like, first thing was, like, right off. I'm like, it doesn't look like it would be his wife. It's like a mistress.
Yeah.
That's what I thought, like, right away.
You find out that she is his mistress because she starts talking about her husband when they get to the hotel.
They're both married and they're both just screwing around on their spouses. That's great. Yeah. He has this, like, weird, I thought it was like
request fantasy thing. I think that was real.
Oh, yeah, before, yeah. Like, some fantasy, how he wants her to be, like, more slutty looking.
Yeah, and he draws on her face.
Yeah, like with eyeliner, he draws on her eyebrows. I'm like, that's not where you'd put that. But, okay. I'm like, no. Bad makeup tip there. But then there's that other dream after they do their dirty, I guess, as you would call it. He has, like, this weird dream about, like, his parents, and he's talking to them, and it seems like they're, like, this weird, like, ruins, like, cemetery thing. He's talking to his dad, and his, like, he helps his dad lower into, like, this weird, like, grave or something. Yeah, it was weird. I thought it was a grave.
Yeah.
Made sense to me.
His mom comes and kisses him on both cheeks, and then flat out on the mouth, and then he's, like, pulling away, and it turns out to be his wife, is my thought.
Yeah.
Which you do learn later it was his wife, because it's the same woman.
She did say it was his wife. Yeah.
And then, one thing I noticed that I thought was cool was his mistress, after they got done doing their thing, that she was reading a Mickey Mouse comic.
Yeah, she was reading that. I did notice that, too. I didn't write it down, but I did notice that.
It was literally the only thing I liked. Literally. That
Mickey
was
Mouse involved?
Yes. So, he's talking with all kinds of people.
Yeah, it seems like he's just, like, a bunch of different actors and producers and, like, a production crew.
Yeah.
He's, like, trying to get these movies together that they have no idea what it's about, really.
Yeah, I don't even think at this point that he knows what it's about.
I don't think he does either. He just kind of just...
Shoop! Don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
And,
kind of BSing them in a way.
Yeah, he's BSing them because he doesn't want to tell them about what the film is about. Because he doesn't know exactly what it's about yet.
He doesn't know. He's just kind of just going with the motions, I guess.
And then we go to a scene of people dancing.
Yeah, that was some weird nightclub dance. Like some...
It's like an outside nightclub.
Yeah.
And it's at the mineral water place.
Yeah, they're dancing, then like this weird jazz music goes on, and like this couple's dancing, and it's just...
Guido is wearing this weird-ass nose on his face. Like,
yeah, because he doesn't want to be spotted, because he's like such a famous director. Like,
except for literally everyone there knows who he is, so it doesn't matter anyways.
It doesn't matter. It's like, really? Come on.
And then there's a magician, and he's like reading people's minds, and like his wife or partner is reading people's minds.
Yeah.
And that's where we come with, he reads Guido's mind, and Guido is thinking, Asa Nisi Masa.
Yeah, and it goes into like this whole flashback thing.
Yeah. So I have a summary here of the flashback. Guido's a little boy being pampered by the women in his life, bathed in wine, then wrapped up in freshly warmed blankets and carried off to bed. As he and the other children are supposed to be falling asleep, one of them declares that the eyes in the painting in the wall are made to move by reciting the phrase Asa Nisi Masa, Asa Nisi Masa.
Yeah, that's a good description to it.
And look, I looked it up, and there's not actually a translation in any known language. But they think that it's more of an Italian children's game, like Pig Latin.
Oh.
Where they added si and sa to the ends of words. So, really, the word is anima. So, anima.
Okay.
And that word means soul in Italian.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Okay.
But that's what that little bit is about.
Yeah, that was a little weird part, but there's like all these weird little fantasies flashbacks goes to like all the time. And then after he gets back to the hotel, he talks to his wife because his wife keeps calling him. And
he's telling his wife to come.
Yep.
And she's like, well, are you going to be happy if I come? He's like, I wouldn't ask if I didn't want you to come.
I feel like just by that conversation, there's a big strain on their relationship.
Yeah.
Just a bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little.
And then he gets a call, I guess in the middle of the night, that Carla, his mistress, is sick.
Yeah. She's sick and she's like in like a nightgown, but it's kind of a revealing nightgown. I was like, how did they get away with this in the 1960s? That was one of my thoughts.
It's in Italy.
Because she was showing a lot.
Italy has different regulations for their films than we do.
I know.
At that point.
I guess. It was like, whoa. I'm like, crazy? There's a lot showing.
Yeah. And then he meets with a religious leader?
Yeah, it's like a cardinal.
Okay.
The cardinal is
lower than the Pope?
Just a little. It's like, it goes cardinal, and then it goes Pope. That's how the Pope's picked from all the cardinals. That's the Catholic Church thing. Yeah. So
you pick your head of the religion from a bird?
Yes. From a bird.
I hate birds.
It's like, yes, from a bird. That's what they're called. Yeah. Just like randomly, just pick it from a random bird that's out there.
Pick the prettiest one.
Pick the prettiest one. Good Lord. It seems blasphemy for me, but whatever.
I'm not making fun of it. I'm just saying.
I know.
Like I don't do religion.
I know.
I don't do it.
And I'm Catholic, so that's all right. Good thing I'm able to explain that, though. Then there's when he's talking to the cardinal, he has a flashback.
Yeah.
Where he's
playing. Crazy woman is dancing.
Yeah, like his friends are like, they go see like this. Her name was Saragrina. And I was like, she's some crazy lady that lives near the beach. And they're like...
in like a concrete shack.
Yeah. That was weird.
It reminds me of something from Star Wars. Those little...
oh, yeah.
On the sand places. The little huts on the sand, in the sand place.
Yeah, and like, it kind of like
on Tatooine, yeah. I was trying to think of the planet. They give her a coin.
Yeah, so they pay her, and they ask her, like, dance, like, with a Roomba.
The Roomba.
And she, like, lowers her shirt a little bit, like, to show her shoulders. And I'm like, this is not a skinny woman either. Okay? She's a curvier woman. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm being nice.
Real ugly, too.
I think she almost had, like, a unibrow, too.
I think that she was homeless, except for her little concrete shack by the beach.
Probably, and that's how she earned a little bit of living, I guess.
Just dancing for these little 12-year-old boys.
That was weird.
So he gets caught.
Yeah, and he gets yelled at by, like, these priests, because I guess he was at a Catholic school or something. That's what made sense to me. It was, like, some Catholic school.
His mom is shaming him.
Shame, and he has a sign on his back of his thing that says, well, in Italian, it's...
shame.
Yeah, and shame. It's, what was it? Vergogna? I don't know. It started with a V, and we tried to figure it out.
I never learned that word.
Makes sense, so.
He was also wearing a cone of shame.
The cone of shame, so that helped a bit.
Then they're at, like, this cafe / auction thing. That's where he's at next, and he meets his wife there.
Oh, yeah.
And his wife is happy to see him, but then something happens and they leave, and she's mad. And we find out that she found out that he is cheating on her.
She knows.
Yes. She knows. And then they're at this construction site.
Yeah, and like they're trying to build like this spaceship or something. I'm like, why the hell are they building a spaceship? He didn't give really any indication that there's supposed to be a spaceship.
They talked about it like once before they went to the thingy, the construction area.
Once. Not the entire film. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Oy.
Then he's in bed, and his wife walks in, and he pretends to be asleep. And then pretends to wake up because she's making noise.
Yeah. They have an argument, too.
Yep.
And I noticed, too, this is an old thing back then, that they have separate beds.
Yeah.
I did notice that.
Yep.
Because she's like, oh, I know. It's like, oh, snap.
Yep. And then they're at the cafe, I guess, like, the next day or sometime during the next week. And the mistress shows up at the cafe, and she sees him, and he, like, puts the paper up in front of his face and hides himself.
I'm like, you're so obvious. Really? You're trying to be smooth about this, but you're not. And his wife's like, oh, her.
Yeah. And she gets mad at him. And then he has a fantasy of
so
them getting
weird.
along.
Getting along, then they're at, like, this big, like, building. Like, I don't know what it would be called.
I don't know.
It was a weird fantasy where it was, like, all these women that he knew from, like, his past. And
my guess is
now
all of his lovers. Or people that he wants to be his lovers.
There we go. I like that. I was kind of, it was like a harem.
Yeah.
Where all these women just loved him, and, you know, his wife was all along with it, and I wrote a little note. I'm like, wife happy living with all these women. Yeah, that's truly a man's fantasy.
Yeah. And then, so there's this one lady who, she's older, and she doesn't want to go upstairs, because upstairs means she's too old.
She's too old.
And so they kind of all turn against him, but then turn back against the old lady, and I'm like, I don't understand what's going on.
That was weird, because there was, like, some whipping, too, involved.
Yeah.
I heard, like, a whip come out, and it was weird. Like, okay.
Yeah.
That was, like, one, I even wrote, this is weird.
Yeah.
That was a weird little fantasy, but whatever.
And then they're watching screen tests?
Yeah. Doing screen tests for his film that he's trying to make. They're like, you need to pick actors.
Yeah.
And he's just like, whatever.
And then Claudia shows up, and he leaves with Claudia.
Well, before that, there's his wife.
Oh. Yeah, his wife is leaving.
His wife leaves, and he's like, well, where are you going? She's like, I'm leaving. I'm just done.
Like, we're done.
We're done. And she just leaves him.
Yeah.
And then Claudia comes, and that's the one he's been seeing in his little fantasy.
Yeah, and she gets the part, because he's the one she's the one he's been wanting to give the part to.
But it's not really a film.
Yeah. When he tells, she's like, is there really a film? He's like, no.
No. I just wanted to meet you, pretty much. It's like, oh.
And then,
This was weird, too.
I
didn't know if this was real or not.
I think this was, like, partially real.
Part of it, maybe? But only... Okay, just go on.
So they're back at the construction site, and he's, like, being dragged up to this table where all the reporters and everything are at, and all his production people are saying, we're starting filming tomorrow, you gotta answer these press questions, and all this and that. And he's just being bombarded with questions, like, everyone is asking him all kinds of stupid questions, like, stuff about the film, stuff about his life, stuff about his past.
Oh, like, politics stuff? I'm like, really?
So, I don't know exactly how much of that was real.
I don't know either. That was a little confusing.
And
I
then
will admit that.
He climbs under the table?
Yeah, because someone told him that I hid it in your right pocket.
Yeah. And he shoots himself.
Shoots himself in, like, the head. And then I'm like, okay, so is this the end of the movie? But no. It's not. Because that actually was the fantasy part.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It got blurry there.
And then I just don't even know. We got a weird conga line after that. And
Well, like,
a marching band that didn't make sense, that didn't know how to play their instruments. And there was a dog.
It was a weird ending, I will say that, because, like, after, he cancels, like, all the production and everything, he's like, then he has, like, the self-dialogue he has, like a soliloquy.
Yeah.
And then that's when all the weird clown stuff comes on, and all these people come, and they're, like, they form, like, the circle, and they're holding hands, and they're dancing around.
I literally said, that is the weirdest conga line I've ever seen.
It was so weird. They're holding hands and dancing in a circle, and, like, I was like, is this, like, a new film, or is this just him going crazy? I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how the film ends.
Yup.
It was weird.
Yeah.
That was really weird.
This is a really fucking stupid movie. So now let's get on to the music.
Which was utterly just as confusing.
So I don't understand why it won for best score when none of the music was original. All of it was
There's one.
This one?
Yes.
The concerto?
Yes, that's the only one. Because everything else is by different
we've got
composers.
Rossini, Wagner, Tchaikovsky, Chopin. Oh, Chopin. I read that wrong. Like, none of that is his. That there's no way that is an original. Like, he shouldn't have won for that score.
That's not original score. That is from different composers. Yeah, that's a little confusing.
And none of the music made any sense whatsoever with where it was.
It didn't go well, like, with the scenes. I was very confused. Like,
I mean, I like the music. It's good music.
It's good music. No,
it just,
no line there.
It just doesn't go with it.
It didn't fit with the scenes.
No.
At all. That was the confusing part. I'm like, well, not a great job with the music part. I'll give it that.
I will say the music selection is good, because I do like pretty much all of those pieces, but it just where it was put and how it was arranged, it was not good. Because it was arranged slightly differently at times.
A little bit, yeah.
Than the originals. So you said that there is a musical that
is based off
of this.
Musical is based off this film. This musical came out in 1982? 82, 83? Something like that.
Okay.
Give me a second. I gotta pull it up. Yes, 1982. And I honestly, as a musical theater person, I had to look this one up because in the 1980s, this one was kind of overshadowed by some other bigger ones, like Les Miserables and, Phantom of the Opera. This one actually won. This musical is called 9. 8.5, 9.
That's a good animated movie.
So the musical, it's pretty similar story. Yeah, pretty similar.
Okay.
I listened to some of the songs. They're interesting. I'll give it that. It did win.
About as much sense.
It made more sense actually because it's written for it. So, let me think. Yes, it won actually a Tony Award. Tony Award for Best Musical. It actually beat out Dreamgirls that year.
Interesting.
And most people know about Dreamgirls than 9.
Yeah.
Which is a little... But 9 was actually made into a movie musical in 2009, actually.
The only 9 I've heard of is a animated movie.
That's a good movie. I do like that one.
It is a good movie, but that's the only 9 that I've ever heard of.
Yeah, it won the Tony for Best Musical and Best Score. I see. And the one who starred in it as Guido is the actor Raul Julia. And do you know who that is?
Nope.
Raul Julia, you would probably know him from the Addams Family films. He is Gomez Addams.
Oh, okay. I know him.
He actually sounded pretty good singing. I was like, I was mildly surprised. I was. But not a bad musical. I'm going to do some more research on it. Probably listen to the soundtrack some more. But, yeah.
All right. So, trivia.
Oh, my trivia. All right.
We already had our one little tiny bit of trivia about the Asa Nisi Masa.
Yeah, in the Broadway musical. So the title refers to the number of movies Fellini had directed up till this point. He had 6 full feature films, 2 shorts, and co-directed a film for a total of 8.5.
Okay.
And so this one I thought was interesting. It was shot, like most Italian films during that time, without any sound recording on the set.
Oh, that's why the mouths were off. I was so mad the entire time. Oh.
And more. So all the dialogue was dubbed during post-production. And Fellini, who was known for shooting, he shouted direction at his actors, and most of the time he didn't have a solid screenplay when he was shooting. So he was rewriting the dialogue afterwards, so made a lot of the out of sync.
Oh my god. I mean, I could already tell that they were using a soundstage, which is sound people where they like pick stuff up to make certain
obvious.
sounds. Very obvious in the car scene because he's like banging on the windows. Like that's not what the windows sound like.
Yeah, so that is why a lot of them did not use a sound recording on the set.
Gotcha.
Which is interesting. I'm like, okay, whatever works for you.
Alright, so is that all the trivia you got?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So where it has been on the list before and where it is at now. In 2010, it was number 186. In 2012, it was 193. In 2014, it was 200. In 2016, it was 229. And as of today, it is number 242.
So it's kind of been like all over.
It's been dropping.
Slowly dropping.
Which is good, because it's stupid.
Even worse than Before Sunrise and
Yeah.
Before Sunsets in Paris, Texas.
Yeah, I would watch those again before I watched this again.
Wow. You heard it here. That is shocking. Because Before Sunset's a romance film.
Yeah.
This one's more of a comedy.
I didn't find it funny, really. There's a couple things that were funny, but not really. So previously number 236 in the list in 2010, Howl's Moving Castle from 2004. In the 2012 list, Spring, Summer, Fall, Winter, and Spring from 2003. The 2014 list, The Graduate from 1967. 2016 list, Jaws from 1975, which was our movie last week. And as of today, Touch of Evil from 1958.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah. So, favorite line?
I have a couple, actually.
Go for it.
Okay, so I forgot to write down who said it, but okay. There's one, it says, I'm always forgiving everything. I've always forgiven everything in the man I love.
I must have missed that one.
Makes sense. Another quote. I actually wrote down who did this. I really have nothing to say, but I want to say it all the same. That was Guido. A real man loves a woman regardless of her age.
Oh, that was during that weird ass.
I love that
thing.
I love that line. And this other one by Guido is, life is a celebration. Let's live it together. So some decent lines. He's got to pay attention, I guess, because I was focusing on what was going on. So, do you have any?
Yeah, I have two.
Sweet.
When they were discussing the film, one of the guys was talking about how his film was going to be better than all the American films. He goes, "We've got the Americans in the palm of our hands." I thought that was funny.
That is funny.
Then some lady said this to Guido. Lying is like breathing to you. I think that was his wife.
I think so.
So those are my two.
Those are some decent lines. So, what do you think?
I don't care. You can pick it. You liked it more than I did.
I did like this film more than you did. Guido's line. I really have nothing to say, but I want to say it all the same. I think this kind of embodies this film pretty well.
Alright. And what is your rating?
Me? I'm gonna be, because I was kind of like, I'm like, okay, well, this is not completely awful, terrible film. I would actually watch this one again. But it wasn't the greatest one because it's kind of hard to follow. So I gave it like a 5.5. Yeah, 5.5, 6-ish. And I already know what Kat gave it.
I gave it a 1. I will never watch this again. This is a horrible movie. Didn't understand it. Didn't think it was funny. Didn't think it was interesting. The only thing that was cool was her reading the Mickey Mouse cartoon.
That's why I got a 1 star, because of that.
Well, and because I can't give it 0.
this is not the worst film I've ever seen. So
This is on my list of never watching them again. You remember when we did that list? This is going on that list.
that's going on the list. Well, look at that. You got to add to that list now.
Yeah. Alright, so our next film is Dead Poets Society from 1989. And that is going to be the film that our guest who won our competition, or our contest, is going to be on. He is known as Maester Ironwood on the Ironwood Network podcast. He will be discussing that with us. That's one of his favorite films, is what he said. So he's pretty excited about it.
I feel like he should handle the trivia because he's like one of his favorites.
I can tell him he can do the trivia if he wants to.
I'll add a little bit, but he probably knows way more than I do.
Yeah, we'll see what he comes up with, and then you can add whatever you think is
Perfect.
important.
I like it.
Alright, so, like I said, we did have the contest, and he was our first winner. So we're still running that contest. 1 out of every 10 people that leave a positive written review will be selected via random number generator to join us for a movie of your choice. And make sure you email or message us a picture, like a screenshot of that, because I don't check it every day.
Yeah,
But I do check it like once a week. So that way we know when it's done. We only have 1 review right now from our contest winner, but it's a nice one.
Yeah, it is a nice one.
So make sure you leave a review.
Yes, we'd love to hear what you think. It helps us.
It does.
It really does. Because sometimes we just go off. So
Yeah, as you can tell from our Harry Potter episodes. And
we apologize for the first Harry Potter one.
If you went through that, thank you.
Bravo! I'm giving you some claps right now because
props.
that was
Long.
that was a long one. I'll admit that. It was long for us. It was probably long for you if you listened. So thanks for listening anyways. So
Yeah, and that being our first event, we learned what we need to do for the next one.
exactly, we know what to do. All right.
So where to find us?
All right, so you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Cat and Jess Talk the Best. Our email is catandjesstalkthebest250@gmail, and our website is catandjesstalkthebest.podbean.com.
Yep. And the show is everywhere. iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube. And if you want to listen to every episode, they are all always going to be on Podbean, the website. And our opening music is by Audio Binger. You can find him on Facebook, YouTube, and his website, audiobinger.net. And also, coming up in 3 months, we are doing our Halloween episode. So make sure you stay tuned for that one as well.
It's like we love Halloween, so it should be a fun episode.
Yes.
Alright.
I think that's it.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye. She has a porg.
I do have a porg. He's so cute.